Ladies and gentlemen, this is Professor Ouele. I'm coming to you today as the author of several books. This is the last book I published. The book is entitled A Communal Cure: How to Heal Our Educational System's Sickness. And this is the volume 1. And that's by Professor Ouele. If you look carefully here, the cover, the cover is made of a school building upside down. The school building is upside down. This is a message that the system of education is collapsing. And when you look at the back, it's a very nice and colorful book, easy to read. You don't need to go in a dictionary to find the meaning of a word. I wrote it in a very simple way. Uh, what is the book about? The book is displaying in the first part all issues the school system is facing. So basically, we have a lot of problems in the system of education, and the system of education, as I mentioned here in the book, is collapsing. Uh, the first part has various many chapters, and just to let you know that this book is dedicated to all teachers in the world, all teachers around the world. This book is for you. And again, as I mentioned here, um, I should explain the book is in two parts. The first part is the acknowledgement of problems. The second part is some solutions that are suggested to solve the problem. Uh, in the first part, I clearly explained in the first chapter how why the school system is collapsing. Is the system is broken. Uh, for example, the the national exam, what they call, it depends on the state, different way of assessing students. Usually, those students are assessed at the end of the school year and they go on summer break without knowing the result. And those results are used rather the next year instead of being used for the current year to support students. Um, I also mentioned the pandemic. The corona pandemic also had a serious impact on the education and continue to have a problem today in the education because there is a gap that created a gap in the system of education. And I also mentioned the lack of motivation from teachers, the shortage of teachers in general. The shortage of teachers is due to the lack of motivation. Nobody is motivated to be a teacher these days. I went in a classroom, in my one of my classroom, because I'm a teacher. I asked students who wants to become a teacher. No one answered the question. No one. They said, I don't want to be a teacher. So the shortage of teachers is due to the fact that teachers are not motivated. Their salary is not enough to pay their bills, so they are less paid compared to other people in society. Uh, they they work in a very difficult environment. Most of the time, teachers spend their money to buy school supplies, and nobody reimburses them. Teachers spend a lot of um, their time, even over the weekend, working for the education of kids. And most of the time, parents are not grateful. They are not grateful. They abandon the education of their kids in the hand of the teacher, hoping that the teacher will solve all problems. The job of a teacher is becoming more and more difficult because the school environment is becoming very violent, and teachers are also suffering from the violence. Teachers are no longer respected. A parent can come to school and curse a teacher in public with no direct consequence. A student can curse a teacher today with no real consequence. The teacher is no longer respected the way he was in the past. So those are some issues. And again, when students go home, at home, parents do not have any minute to check if their kid how the kid did in school. Do they have homework? And when the teacher, when they don't do their complete their homework, they have zero, and parents believe that the teacher is responsible for the failure of their kids. When the student has maybe like 90%, 98, that's good. But when the teacher give the failing grade to the student because the student is not doing well, it becomes a serious problem for parents. I also mentioned here in the book, um, again, I mentioned the violence in school. We just started the school year, and in various schools, students are already shot. Every year, the number of students who are shot is very scary. It is scary. And I mentioned also the way students with disability are taught. I don't believe it is the right way, because students with disability deserve more than that. Oh, so that's as mentioned a lot in this book, and I will come back in another uh, broadcast to go step by step, take one problem and solve. And one of the things I mentioned is the standard testing. So it does not reflect student are what it doesn't reflect anything at all. Sometimes students are taking the test when they are sick or when they are maybe not in good condition, and people with disability they are not doing well with the standard tests, and that does not reflect a lot. So we need to come with different ways to measure the success of students. We need to come with different ways to evaluate. And also, one of the things I mentioned here is the evaluation of teachers. Today, the principal of a school can come in the classroom for 30 minutes and give to the teacher a poor grade. Most of the time, it is not objective. If the teacher is not does not have any specific connection with the principal, most of the time it it plays against the teacher. Many schools, in many various schools, the principal of school created a kind of circle, and if you are not part of that circle where people are coming to gossip, to say what they want, hear what you are saying, and go to tell the principal, if you're not part of that circle, most of the time you are considered as an outcast, and you can have a poor grade, which is not right. So again, what I'm suggesting in the one of the things I'm suggesting in the book is, for example, the increase of teachers' salary. You give them more money to keep them to make them stay in the profession. I also mentioned here the homeschool. With the violence in school, the homeschool in a near future may become one of the solutions to the problem. I didn't mention everything. I didn't tell you everything. I just gave you an idea of what I say in the book. There are a lot to discover in the book. And where can you find it? Where can you find this book? The book is displayed on Amazon, but I will not recommend you to buy my book on Amazon because I have only 40% of royalty and they take 60%, which is not right. So I'm writing the second volume. So if you want to motivate me to write the second volume, click on the link below and purchase the book. Click on the link below to buy your book. That's the best way to motivate me as the author. I'm going to come in a near future in another in another video to explain chapter by chapter some issues or some solutions that I put in this book. So again, hurry up, buy your copy. It's a very nice book, easy to read. Again, this is Professor Ouele, the author. See you next time.